So I just had this thought process. Bo Nix's career is really weird. It's almost kind of an oxymoron. Guy begins his tenure playing against Oregon, now is playing for Oregon, and after leaving the hometown squad, he now has the opportunity of not just winning the Heisman Trophy, but maybe leading his team to a national championship. If you're brand new here, welcome on into the channel. My name is Cole Thompson. I'm a radio show host based in Houston, and I talk college football daily. I talk NFL, MLB, NHL, NBA, but I love talking college football. And if this is the type of content you enjoy, this is the channel made for you. So hit the subscribe button down below, leave a comment telling me your thoughts on the resurgence of Bo Nix of all people. Tell your friends, your family, your sister, everybody about this channel, and let's continue to talk college football. By the way, the mustache, I grow it out every single year from Movember. I bring awareness to men's suicide, testicular cancer, and prostate cancer. If you would like to find out more information on how to be a part of the solution, go visit Movember.com, or you can click in the link in my bio down below. Yeah, Bo Nix's career, it's just a weird scenario when you think about it, because not many teams end up getting the quarterback that beat them as a freshman in their very first start and get better because of it. But that's kind of where Oregon is. Oregon was always a fine team, and they always were one of those competitive rosters in the Pac-12, but they never really seemed, underneath Mario Cristobal, to have the right quarterback option, whether that be Tyler Shuck or Anthony Johnson or whoever the hell was ending up leading the charge. They just didn't have that competitive edge. And they watched as Bo Nix found a way in Atlanta to get the win for Auburn. And that was supposed to be the start of a historic career. I mean, everyone in Auburn knew who Bo Nix was from the time that he was a little kid growing up and seeing games in Jordan-Hare on the sidelines to eventually committing to the Tigers and following in the footsteps of his dad, Patrick Nix. Like, everyone knew who Bo was, and everyone knew that he was supposed to be the savior. But that kind of comes with the territory of also being the son of a former quarterback, is you're supposed to live up to the family name. And sometimes that doesn't always happen. You know, for Joe Burrow, he grew up in a household where coaching was very prevalent. He grew up knowing football, loving football, seeing his older brothers play football. And in Ohio, he wanted to go be a part of the Buckeyes. And he played and he competed and he fought. And Urban Meyer even said when it was time to name Dwayne Haskins the starter, it's a shame that we can't get Joe Burrow out on the field because if he hasn't done anything wrong. And so Joe ends up betting on himself and he goes away from Ohio, but he says, listen, I don't know SEC culture. I don't know what the SEC is about, but I know that this is a school and an opportunity I can't pass up. I have to bet on myself. And if I end up being successful, I only have myself to thank, because if I'm not sticking around, even though it'd be easy for me just to wait my turn or maybe hope for an injury or be a part of just the culture of Ohio State, I have dreams, I have realities, I have goals, and I have to achieve them. It's not going to be in Columbus. And it kind of felt the same way with Bo Nix. You know, I don't think he ever thought of the Pac-12. I'm not sure he was ever interested in going out west, and Eugene was ever on his mind. I don't think even Georgia was on his mind, according to the great song. Like, he was all hell bent on being a part of the Tigers. And, you know, there's always been that conversation of, how do Tigers fans feel about Bo Nix? Most that I talk to actually are very elated to see him kind of resurge his career. And they realized a breakup is probably best for everybody involved. We start off with a brand new quarterback and hopefully a brand new coach, which they did because Harsin got fired. And maybe we begin a new chapter that ends up being something more promising. You, on the other hand, get to continue your career, and we wish you nothing but the best. And it was really cool to see how Bo bet on himself to go to Eugene and reconnect with people who at least knew who he was. Kenny Dillingham was the offense coordinator during his freshman year, probably his best year he ever had at Auburn. Dan Lanning saw for 2 years, because of the oldest rivalry in the South, what Bo could do, and he needed a quarterback for the transfer portal to really stabilize a young and up-and-coming roster. And combined, they created a culture and an identity last year that set the tone for this season. And that's really where we are right now. Last year was all about building a foundation for where this Ducks team could end up demolishing opponents throughout the Pac-12. And outside of the Washington game, where I thought they actually played better than Washington for most of the afternoon, they've done that. They've handled business. They've had a scare or two. I mean, the Texas Tech game absolutely was one where you're holding on to your pearls and clutching on to the side of your seat and begging that someone doesn't mess up. But besides that, they've done their job. And that's a huge testament to what you saw from Kenny Dillingham's offensive perspective. That's a huge testament to what you saw from the ability and the coaching demeanor of what Dan Lanning brings to the table. It's also a testament to Will Stein, the brand new OC who replaced Dillingham, and his relationship with Bo Nix. But it's also a testament to Bo, because of a veteran quarterback, honestly, is probably what sets you apart from a lot of teams. And a lot of quarterbacks transferred in the last few years and have found success. Jaden Daniels. You could throw in Jordan Travis. He started his career at Louisville. You could say Sam Hartman at Wake Forest and Notre Dame. You can mention a lot of guys. Graham Mertz right now is being successful, in my opinion, at Florida. But I don't think many are at the same level as Bo Nix. I would say probably Jaden Daniels and Michael Penix Jr. are the only two. And it's why I would say right now, those are your three front runners for the Heisman Trophy. And depending on what happens this weekend and moving forward, Bo Nix should and probably is the favorite. Right now, he ranks number 4 in college football in passer rating. He ranks number 1 in college football in completion percentage. He's top 10 in passing yards with over 2,700. If you include the rushing touchdowns, he's number 2 in the country. Just passing touchdowns alone, he's got 25, fourth most. He's one of the fewest sack quarterbacks in the league. Not to mention he only has 2 interceptions. And he's leading this Ducks team to domination on Saturdays every single week. He found a way to march into Rice-Eccles Stadium and basically tell Kyle Whittingham and a Utah team that's always well prepared, always understands its job, doesn't get in its own way, hey, sit down, shut up, get ready for the ass whooping of a lifetime. And that's kind of what he's done all across his tenure during the time with the Ducks. Yeah, he lost a football game to Washington. If you were to be a betting man today, would you say that Washington's the favorite against Oregon at a neutral site location? Not based off of what we've seen from Bucky Irving, not what we've seen from the rapport of both Troy Franklin and other receivers, not what we've seen with this offensive line and this defensive line play. Oregon's a damn good team. Oregon right now, in my opinion, might be the most lethal one-loss team in the country. There's an argument for them. There's an argument for Alabama. There's an argument for Texas. And there's an argument that it all comes down to quarterback play. And right now, the quarterback I'd be taking more than anybody else in the country, surprisingly, is Bo Nix. Of all the people. The reason I love college football so much is because it allows us to see storylines be rewritten. You don't get that in the NFL often. Every once in a blue moon, you will see it happen in the MLB, where a pitcher that has a 6.25 ERA ends up becoming a Cy Young Award finalist. We've seen that before, but it's very uncommon. We see this consistently in college football. And for Bo Nix, one of the quarterbacks who made headlines as a freshman, showed the world, yeah, I'm here, I'm going to mess around, and you don't want to find out what I'm good at. That guy leaves his home, leaves a place where he was beloved at the start of his tenure, and rewrites history for the better. The man has absolutely changed his course when it comes to draft evaluations, when it comes to his historic rise in college football lore, when it comes to his success on the field and off it. And I think right now, depending on what happens against USC, against Oregon State, and probably against Washington and Las Vegas, that decides between him and Michael Penix who wins the Heisman Trophy. And if I were to be a betting man right now, number 10 is the last quarterback I want to be going up against in a do-out, show-out. I'm sorry. That's the guy who I think is going to win the Heisman. And that's the guy who probably deserves a lot more respect than we're giving him. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Don't hit the X button yet. Make sure you hit subscribe to keep up with all of our daily content found on Just Saying It and anything else that we post on this channel. Bye.